All right. So you guys, please let me know if you can hear me. And if you do, then I'll start again. And I'll say, hello, everyone. How you all doing? Let's see. Why this looks crooked in the back? Nothing's crooked. Okay. So what do we have here? We have Aftar here. Hello, Aftar. And let's say hello to everyone here, and then I'll come back to Aftar, the first question. Aman is here, 21 male India. Thank you for that. And David Hart is here. Hello, David. It's been a while. Says, hi, Mehran. What kind of tea you gonna be drinking today? Today is a day for roasted dandelion tea. Root. Roasted dandelion root. There it is. Oh, it's funny that because it's got green, it doesn't show the brand. There it is. And that's been oh, my favorite for a long time now, maybe about a year, if not that long. And it's a fusion between tea and coffee. I don't drink coffee, but this one is like got a thick, heavy body, and it's a bitter, but it's got no caffeine, and it's thicker than tea, so to speak. And the taste will grow on you. It's bitter, but apparently it's very nutritious, very good for you, cardiovascular and everything else. So it's, I don't know, I like it. Wow. And we have Maribel Papagallo. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Says, hi, I'm Maribel from Dominican Republic. Welcome, Maribel. If you wouldn't mind, please, everyone, don't forget, let me know your age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. And let me know if you guys hear me well. Why is my connection not so good? Is the connection okay? Looks okay. All right. So, Maribel, let me know your age, gender, where you. I know it's Dominican Republic. That part we know. Mukul Anand says, "Hi, hello, Mukul. Age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Thank you very much." Mike F. F stands for friend, or depends on your mood, I guess. Mike, fuck all. All right, got it. Says, hello, Meran. Hello from Basel. Oh, Basel, Switzerland. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. My father used to live in Switzerland and work there. He was a lawyer and he had some international cases. And so he went to Switzerland often, and he always talked highly about Switzerland, its culture, its civility, and all the rest of it. He was very fond of Switzerland. Spent many years back and forth, and then eventually, when I immigrated to Canada, I was here, and for certain reasons, that's not a topic of discussion here. He decided to, that was after revolution, that it wasn't kind of easy to go back to where my home country was. So he was working in Switzerland. He decided to, with my mom, come here to Canada. So he lived here until in 2011 he passed. And so Switzerland has been, and he always said Canada is is Switzerland but larger size. size. So he liked appreciated the nature. So, and he says, hope you're doing well. Cheers, Michael. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate the kindness and the good energy. And the people who did not include the age, gender, where they're tuning in from, please do. It's important for me to know a little bit about you, especially the demographics and how far we're reaching. And why is the Wi-Fi is so weak here? I don't understand. My computer is fine, but the sign on the live, it's not that great. Can you guys hear and see me okay? All right, let's continue. We have Miami Soldier says, hi, hello, Miami Soldier. Age, gender, where are you tuning in from? Obviously, Miami. Make Your Touch says, Ashraf Moroccan living in Germany, male 28. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. And T, that's very complete, elaborate name, I guess. Mr. T says, hi, Meran, 25 male, Paris. Oh, bonjour, oh, bonsoir. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? I hope all is well in Paris. I like Paris. I've been there a few times. Montparnasse, where I used to go and get croque monsieur, madame monsieur. No, croque madame or croque monsieur on the street vendors. Entrecôte, never forget that, entrecôte. And with my father, once I was visiting there, we went to a restaurant called Coupole. Big, huge at the time. And I think they served, I had snail that day as well as some of the stuff that, so it was a good, memory. I also visited Versailles Palace. It was interesting. So McCall says, McCall from India, age 33. Thank you for that. Again, I guess it's a male because your picture looks like it's a male. And Mona is here, says, hi, Meranjun. Hello, Mona June. Good to see you, dear. How have you been? It's been a long time. I mean, it was just a while ago that you did show up, but not as often as before. Hope everything is going well with you, dear. And thank you for joining us. Make Your Touch says, I check Instagram of my ex of less than a week ago. I see her adding many new guys, and she's in Tinder dating app. I image her going to have sex with someone else and feel jealous. How to get over it? Well, open your eyes and see that she's not the only woman on earth. There's so many amazing, beautiful women on earth. We don't have any shortage of women. We do have a shortage of really good, committed, good-hearted, manners and moral women. That's for sure. Same with maybe guys. But quality of women have changed since 50 years ago. We are not really that lucky to enjoy that kind of a mentality, culture, quality, and what the woman used to bring to the family, to the relationship, to the table. Now it's all about how many guys they get and how many guys they get their attention and what they can get for the beauty and fitness and all that. It's gone to a level that is no longer inviting for a guy to get into a relationship unless it's for sex. Like, they have limited the cultural trick and fraudulent way of promoting values have caused women to focus on as if they only have sexuality to offer, and that's their only value, which is not true, because we have amazing number of women who still adhere to the older values, deeper values, and they bring so much amazing qualities to the table and to the relationship. But it's unfortunately, it's a dying breed. And so, but nevertheless, there's no shortage of women of any kind. You can find the kind that you're looking for and see if you guys qualify and meet each other's standards. So whether she's going to be with somebody else or not, what did you think when you break up? She's going to go in convent and become a nun? No, she's going to find another guy, and guys are lining up to have sex with women and they're not really that discriminatory. So if that's the kind of girl that you've been going out with, that she's now having so many guys around her, well, that's her hang up. That's her forte. That's her need to get attention. And so with that kind of girl, why would you even want to be with her? Because if a relationship is not exclusive, it's not worth anything. Everybody in a relationship wants to feel special. So when you decide to be with someone, whether you're a man or a woman, whenever you decide to be in a relationship, you got to be committed. You got to be dedicated. You got to be faithful. You got to be loyal. You got to want to build something. And if one of you doesn't and moves on, well, it's not the end of the world. And you can go on and focus on the abundance of other amazing women available and find your match. All right. Mike says, have you answered? Oh, it says here your answer regarding age and gender. Thank you. 42 male Germany. Ah, guten Tag. Wie geht's heute? Says Basel, Switzerland now. Oh, I see. So you actually German and gone to Basel. Beautiful. You know, I went to Mannheim in 2009, I think. Was it? Or earlier, I'm not sure. No, you know what? It was... I think it was 1993. 1993, 1994. I went to Mannheim, and from Mannheim, I went to Switzerland, Zurich. I think that would have been Zurich crossing. So I had a great time one day. I went there for business, but I like Switzerland as well. Says, I imagine, no, there it is. It says, but lived a long time in Bordeaux, France. Oh my goodness, you're international, aren't you? German, now in Basel, but lived in Bordeaux, France. Wunderbar. And Mr. T says, also, I feel like always need to analyze any thought. So what was the first one? I didn't get the first one, Mr. T. Mr. T says, hi, Maran, 25 male Paris. I keep on getting HOCD, intrusive thoughts, while I'm trying to have nice sexual thoughts about women. How do I limit this happening to me? Well, HOCD is just a distraction and static of the sound of the brain. Like brain has sound, like, you know, ass has sound. It's called fart. Brain also has sound. It's called intrusive thoughts, but it's the same thing. It's statics. It's irrelevant to you. It's meaningless, but yet it takes your attention in such a way that you think you have to look for some meaning into it. It's no different if you try to find out. It's important to find out why this fart sounded like this or smelled like this or what was in the food that it ate. It's irrelevant. Even though you go and data hunt it and find all that information you need, it's irrelevant. It's a sound, which is, it's uninvited. It's not necessarily and never is under your control. It's a body's way of getting rid of certain kind of a pressure and tension and feces, certain kind of residues. Brain also, any functional system has produces certain kind of a product, and also produces, because of that product, produces certain kind of a exhaust residue. And so brain also is involved in making thoughts. Brain is thought manufacturing plant. And in doing so, it creates lots of uninvited statics through the friction of doing what it does. And those statics sometimes go out of control and is not clearly filtered and cleaned out by a lever called caudate nucleus in the striatum in basal ganglia. Striatum area has a lever called caudate nucleus, which its job is to shut down intrusive thoughts. In other words, take all those statics and exhaust that is created in the brain and filter it and dispose of it by dissipating it. That's what caudate nucleus is supposed to do. But it sometimes malfunctions, doesn't do its job. So all these statics and unnecessary, irrelevant thoughts show up, and caudate nucleus is just sitting, taking a break, overwhelmed, doesn't do its job to filter them and shut them down, dissipate them. And it's like the sweeping is not working. So they linger and they show up, and all those intrusive thoughts linger. And when they linger and they don't disappear as they're designed to be disappeared, you think it means something because you have been duped to think that the brain is intelligent since childhood, and you're duped to think that whatever shows up in the head, it must have a reason or a meaning. Instead of thinking brain is also an organ, a tool, a machine, a apparatus that, just like any other machine, can and does malfunction. Instead of that, you think it's hovering, it's not disappearing, so it must mean something. Then you go data hunting, trying to figure out what it could have what it could have meant. Does it have anything to do with me? Which it doesn't. But you're under the illusion that you have to find a conclusion about this brain fart. And you spend your time and life and focusing on trying to make sense out of it, because part of your job, the amygdala's job, is to protect you and alarm you of any possible danger. So things that are very valuable to you tend to protect them more. When it comes to your sexuality and your identity, you're protective of it. So amygdala, especially if it's overactive amygdala, will pay a lot more attention to things that really has no danger to you whatsoever, but it acts as everything is dangerous to you, and you should be alerted and aware of it overly. So it keeps sending you emotional danger signals when it doesn't even exist. But you will react to these emotional danger signals regardless that they're not true. You just treat them as if they're true. Just like a million years ago, when you were, let's say, in the jungles, and there would be sound of a twigs breaking, and because of danger of dinosaurs and other wild animals, you wouldn't wait to see what this sound of the branches breaking was from. You treat it as a real danger of some dinosaur about to tear your ass apart, and you start running. Later on, you may find out what it was, but you don't care. At that moment, you're not waiting to data hunt. You react. Same thing when amygdala, to this day, its job is the same: to save you from dangers, alert you, and make you move. Gives you a signal, you act on it, and then you figure out if there was something really seriously dangerous or not. So when amygdala goes rogue and it's overactive, it keeps sending signals to alert you of some danger which doesn't exist. It's a false signal, but you still act on it as if it's real because that's how you're built for survival. So in this way, this is now happening here that when it has something to do with your sexuality, you become more tuned to protect yourself through you react. You become more focused on what this thought was, why did it show up, that what does it mean, and that distracts you from whatever it is that you're engaged and you're enjoying to do. So the short of the long is, don't pay attention to them when they show up. Say, okay, whatever, but you keep on doing what it is that you're enjoying to do. Many women, even when they're having sex, they may not have OCD, but their thoughts could be in laundry or the other chores that they want to do or take care of the children, and they're having sex with their husband or with their boyfriend, but they're not fully into it, but they still continue on regardless of what their thought pattern at that moment may be. Treat the intrusive thoughts as just nuisance that shows up at the wrong time. Not that there's any right time for it, but it shows up when it's not supposed to show up. Instead of paying attention to it and engaging it with dialogue, why you're here, what does it mean, what do you mean you're here? None of that. Just say, whatever. I'm here. I'm with my girlfriend. I'm enjoying myself. So whatever you want to think, go ahead, think. I don't care. I'm not going to stop the actuality and reality to follow a virtuality and nonsense, irrelevant things. You want to alert me of something, fine, thank you very much. Or you want to come up with intrusive thoughts, I don't have time for that. Simple. But if you get engaged with it, you're indirectly encouraging the brain to feel that, yeah, when it shows up intrusive thoughts, you would engage with it. And the brain wants engagement because brain finds security in engagement with you, in occupation, in making busy. And for that busy, it needs reaction from you. If you don't show reaction, the brain eventually gets rewired and learns that these sort of behavior will not result in an engagement to feel that it's alive and it's active, find security in occupation. So it changes its tune and stops making those thoughts. At least it makes less. And if it does, then you know what it is. You don't freak out. Short of the long. You guys, remember that if you want to talk to me in regards to your breakups or OCD or OCD subsets, HOCD, whatnot, I have a site, www. Mind that seeks truth.com. You can go on that and make an appointment with me. And for new clients, for 1 hour registration of appointment on Skype, I add another 30 minutes, if not more, for the first session, and we'll discuss your questions and concern on Skype one-on-one. T says, also, I feel like, oh, was it T that I was talking to? T says, I feel like I always need to analyze any thought. Yeah, we just thought about it. That brings me fear, even when I've been doing well with not reacting to thoughts. So it doesn't matter. See, brain is in virtual world, and it has a power to make you feel that virtual things are actually actual, but they're not. But because brain through thought can make the body react, the reaction of the body to the virtual thinking of the brain becomes an evidence for you that the virtual thinking of the brain has credibility. Why? Because you saw a change or reaction in a physical world through your body. But nevertheless, that's a power of the brain. But that doesn't mean or make the thought that caused this reaction in the body be an actual living action in the physical world. And so therefore you're 100% safe from all thoughts, because no thoughts whatsoever can ever become an action or reality without your permission or your taking steps to give action to the thought to make it to become actuality. So you're the boss, you're above the brain, above thoughts. It's not that you work for the brain. Brain is added to you as an apparatus to serve you. But through our time, we have learned to think brain is us, but it's not true. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. We didn't even have this brain until 40,000 years ago. We were living our lives based on, we had stem brain, we had the reptilian brain, we had, everything was on instinct. You would run, you would hunt, you would sleep, you would have sex, you would do whatever you were needing to do, and without ability to think or speak. And therefore you had no problems in here, because thoughts are the roots of all problems. Since we were given this brain 40,000 years ago, we became capable bit by bit to speak and think. And those speaking and thinking is what causes all these intrusive thoughts and so on and so forth. Otherwise, before that, we didn't have any of these problems. Everything was clear because everything was hardwired. And everything was instinctive. No thoughts or speaking abilities, meaning of the words in speaking, it's not contestable. So therefore, when an image or a thought shows up, it translates to words, and those words, meanings of those words in the dictionary is incontestable. So you think it has accuracy, it has relevancy, it has truth in them. None of that is true. So this brain was added to you, not that you were added to this brain. So this brain was never involved in the gender that you have, in the inclination and identity that you have. So it can never be having any role in changing you because of the thoughts that it makes. All powers is in your hand, but you got to be clear to understand you're not the brain, brain is not you. You're not thoughts, and thoughts are not you. And I urge you guys, if you haven't watched this video yet, please go ahead and watch this long video helping you to understand you're not the brain and brain is not you. You are not. And that would be this video. It is based on the research of Dr. Egnar, which involves the experiments of Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Libet, and helps you to see that not even because of introduction of this topic of dualism by Aristotle 1,000 years ago, that introduced the idea that you're beyond the brain, but even now, the modern science have proven beyond the shadow of the doubt through many scientific research, including the scientific research and results of the many brilliant Nobel Prize echelon studies of these doctors that I just mentioned, that through neuroscience and neurosurgery, they have proven that there are aspects of the mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. So you're the boss, not the brain. If you understand this, it'll help you to know much more about your psyche, and these intrusive thoughts and OCDs and HOCDs can be much easier handled. All right. Rahul says, hi, sir, 34 male, India. Says, wife is back to her home with my daughter. We meet before a few days at one hotel for a day. I'm so much disturbed now because of this non solved issue. I lost all hope. She's paranoid regarding me, that I'm doing something with my daughter. Her behavior and thinking is illogical, causing complete destruction of our relationship, which affecting everyone. She said she's unable to control her thoughts and getting disturbed with her own thoughts. She said to consult a physician, she said to consult a psychiatrist, but I have not consulted her to psychiatrist yet. Problem for our issue is her negative overthinking, which is not having any reality, but her own thoughts causing everything shattered. Yeah, well, she needs to speak with a psychologist and help her to regain and relax her overactive um, signals of danger that is sent to her. So perhaps you guys can come to some kind of a agreement or helping each other to recover from this condition. But obviously, she's not even living with you, but still has all these fears and these intrusive thoughts, which is affecting your relationship and your family. You need to talk to her civilly and lovingly and help her to gain trust and comfort and feel safe with you. And also let her know that you're there to help her with all the intrusive thoughts or the illusions that disturbs her. You will be there backing her up, supporting her, protecting her, and so on and so forth. That is the only way to help her, and also see a psychologist. Um, Mike F says, by definition, real deep love is believing in, you might say, eternity. But what if you reached the point in life of understanding deeply that everything is transient? No love possible anymore? No, whatever it is, transient or transient, at the moment that is transiting, transient thing, it's something is true. It's like saying, I eat this food, but it's transient. Then I am not hungry now, but I will be hungry again. Yeah, okay, but for the time that you're not hungry, you enjoy the food. I don't quite understand the depth of your question or the point of it, but the whole life is transient. We come and go. So what does that mean? Just because of that, we shouldn't live. We shouldn't do our best. We shouldn't enjoy anything. We shouldn't take anything for actuality. Nothing is real. All I care at this moment to drink this tea. Whether everything else is going well or not, or this tea will, remain full or not, doesn't matter. But the moment that I'm taking that tea, that's the one I should focus on, and that's reality. That's real. So I shouldn't be worried about will I have tea again this afternoon or not. That moment is all that there is. After, uh, I want to see if you can do something for me. There is a place that I've been trying to see if they are legit in the remedy they are offering for kidney repair and things like that. And they are not willing to show any picture of the facilities, the hygiene and cleanness of the facilities where they prepare the remedies, the pills that's supposed to be all herbal and so on. I was wondering if you've ever heard of this particular place. If you send me an email, so I know it's you, and I will send you the name of that clinic, so to speak. See if you know anything about them. They claim that they have these herbal pills that will rejuvenate and repair kidneys that are having difficulty in getting rid of creatinine, and it's keeping more than it should. And so it would be very interesting. And this is my email. So you can send me your just a hello, so I know it's you. Then I'll give you their names, so you can just see if you know anything about it. Just ask around without spending your time or effort so much. Just see if they're known, if they're reputable, something of that sort. I'd appreciate it. So we have Aman says, I don't know what Aman said. Did I not respond to Aman's question? Aha. Aman says, I'm going to college with clear thoughts of getting job and studying, but I have no girl talking interest in me. And unfortunately, that girl who rejected me is in same class and flirting with many guys. So what? Why would you want to be with a girl who flirts with many guys? So that's your luck that it didn't work out. Don't worry about it. Makes me feel bad. No, why should it make you feel bad? You're not, responsible for her actions. She is. Aman says, feel like I'm a loser. No, why should you be loser if you don't have a piece of shit in your hand? I mean, is it really that important you have something in your hand that even shit would make you feel good? Obviously, a girl that is flirting with all other guys is not a material that you want to consider a girlfriend. Why would you? Because you're in love with your desire for pleasure. You're not focusing on her qualities. You're focusing on your need for pleasure. And therefore, on that note, you wouldn't even notice what the quality of the girl is as long as she looks like a girl and that's all you want. That's not the right way of choosing a relationship. She should meet standards that you expect. So consider that lucky and have pity on her in favor of finding other girls. I mean, don't devaluate other amazing girls that are out there just because this one is not hanging out with you. Forget it. So we go to after says you missed my question at the beginning. Did I? Oh, after says male 40 UK. He says, hi Miran, I hope you're well. I have been single approaching a year. I keep myself busy and trying online dating. Still no luck. How do you deal with that feeling of loneliness through lack of companionship? It's a fact. Many of us may not find the girl that we're looking for, especially after when we are a little bit older. When we are younger, we don't have much of a standards or expectations as long as she looks hot, or she looks good, or she smiles, or she has good manners, or she talks to us. I mean, it really doesn't take much for us at a young age to be attracted to a girl and accept her as a possibility for a relationship. But the older we get, through the experiences of life and the people that we've met and the relationship that we've been on, we've learned certain things, and we've created certain kind of a image of what we expect our girlfriend to be. And we have built certain standards and expectations that we didn't have those standards and expectations at a much younger age. And through all that, you become a little bit more stiff, in rather less flexible in accepting other people's shortcomings. And you become rigid in your expectations, especially the older you get, the more you're interested in a good foundation to build something so it will last longer, rather than jumping from one branch to another. So at age 40, it is not necessarily your problem that you don't find suitable matches on dating sites online. That's simply because the quality of woman and their expectations for a relationship is not at par with yours, which at your age you expect more substance, more quality. And most women who are on online, not all, most, are there just for fun and see what they can get and opportunities that could be there, and they're constantly looking for one or the other, and they go on dates, and many of them are just there to go on dates and have a nice dinner. Somebody else pays for them, not necessarily into finding a real relationship. And many of them are there for finding a relationship, but their expectations is not um, not logical. Uh, they're unreasonable expectations. They are there not looking just for a relationship, they're looking for security. They're looking for convenience of provisions. They're looking for more of a commodity than a personality. And for that reason, you can't really count on these dating sites so much as you would if you meet someone in real life by accident, or by some kind of a event, that you can have that first impression and exchange words and communicate and feel each other's energy. On dating sites, you see a picture which is her best picture or one of her fun pictures. She's smiling, she's all dewed up. The snapshot of her life is in that picture, and you create an image of her based on that fun and beautiful picture, all dewed up picture, uh, perhaps even Photoshop picture. And you create an image of her in your mind, and you give all kinds of credentials that you expect her to have according to your standards and expectations. And then you create that image of her, then you fall in love with the image you created of her from that one picture. But her life is not that picture. That was just one moment of her life. Your whole assumption and assessment of her and her life and who she is based on that one moment in that one picture of her, which is the wrong way of starting that emotion in yourself. There's no judgment. You had no chance for any judgment to see her in action, negotiating day-to-day life. Didn't experience having tea or coffee or conversation with her, but yet you have created that feeling because of that picture, which, of course, it's triggering your hormones, and uh, desire for pleasure takes over, and you bypass all the other expectations that you should have and you should be looking to fulfill, or to see if it's qualified or not. So my suggestion is, forget focusing on these dating sites. There's constantly, they're talking to so many other options, and that's really not the way to find your compatible one. That's my opinion. And the fact that you're lonely until you find, well, that's a fact of life. Sometimes you got to endure that singularity until you find someone who is qualified enough to warrant your efforts and energy to take her out. But for the sake of taking somebody out, you're men. We're men. We take somebody out, even though if she's not really the choice, but that's what's available. That's what responded to you, and you are eager to please your desire. So you accept going out with her, and then your hormone takes over. Pair of legs or breast or beautiful smile or hair. It doesn't let you really analyze her according to what your expectations are. And you get used to her and you like her and you think you love her. So these dating sites, it's not really the best way of finding a real choice. Best would be to meet them in person in different venues of life and see if you can hit it off. And how would they come off at their first impression? How would they react to your invitation? But on dating sites, everybody is having time to think and figure things out and, put their best foot forward and collect themselves and write some words. You're having a relationship with words, not necessarily that person, not that person's energy. You can't see that until you meet them. And when you meet them, your desire for pleasure takes over. You won't really get to know them because you're so anxious not to be lonely. Going to find a girlfriend based on the fact that you don't want to be lonely is going to lead to disaster, because you're going to accept anyone just to remedy the loneliness rather than focusing on the qualities that you expect. So just endure the loneliness if that's what you feel until you find the right girl. Otherwise, not worth it. All right. I hope I answered your question now. Let's go back to where we were. We have Stuazi. Stuazi says, hi, Meran. Thanks for the answer from last week's stream. You're welcome. Rahul says, could you please suggest anything to stop her negative, uncomfortable thoughts regarding me? Well, I guess I don't know if she wants to talk to me. Make an appointment for her to talk to me. I'd be available to talk to her. But if that's not her interest or possible for you, then she got to speak with some counselor in order to express herself and her concerns. And it would be a good idea if I can talk with her and then discuss also with you, and then the three of us could also talk on Skype. She must have concerns that needs to be addressed. Some of them could be legitimate, as you know, and some of them may just be far-fetched ones and her insecurities and fears. But nevertheless, if there is no communication, there's no way to remedy or come to any kind of a agreement or balance in the whole relationship. And Swazi says, ME, I don't know what that means. Swazi says, male 30, Serbia, says, I have another problem. I got stood up today for a date today because I was 6 minutes late. But I told her 10 minutes before the date that I would be a couple of minutes late. Okay. How should I proceed, since this should have been our third date and this behavior seems really odd? It is odd. It's your third date and she didn't hang around for 6 minutes. Well, this could mean a couple of things. One could mean she's not interested. Because if you're interested in someone, 6 minutes or 10 minutes or even 15 minutes wouldn't matter. You would wait, because your concern would be what happened that he or she is late. I hope they're okay. Instead of thinking about her own ego and being proud that, oh, she's late, so it's disrespectful to me, so I go. Now, that's one way of looking at it. The other thing is that she's setting out a precedent to teach you a lesson that I'm very important. A big ego, big head. If it's a third, if it was a first date, maybe okay, 6 minutes, okay. But third date, that means she already knows you. She knows your level of attention or respect or um, interest in her. So she leaves for 6 minutes being late. I think it's your lucky day. Just let her go. If that's the attitude, you don't have to keep being in a relationship that you constantly have to be on your toes and apologize or make sure that her expectations are met, even though if something that you could not be, you could not help it is happen, and you already informed her, which a gentleman does. So if she has such a big head and big ego, she can't handle events of life or someone just being late a little bit, even though he has informed her of it, well, then it's just something you don't need to spend time to fix. Jose Caraballo Riviera. Okay, Jose says, do you think a narcissist can change? Jose, age, gender, where you tuning in from? And then I'll get back to you for sure. Rahul says, what is the issue with the kidneys? Why need pills? Can help on this. Well, I have blood pressure. And all my life I've been healthy and athlete. And even to this day, I feel great. But my GFR is gone low, which is the function of kidney, because I have blood pressure and I'm taking blood pressure pills. So I want to see if there's a chance to repair it before it gets to the point that, there would be no more live stream. So the Western medicine doesn't have any response to it other than pills. And those pills actually could be detrimental to the health of the kidneys. Otherwise, in my life, I've never, in school when we were young, we drank a little bit, but never alcohol was my choice. I've never been a drinking person. Never smoked. I don't even drink coffee. All my life been healthy lifestyle and sports and so on. But obviously, blood pressure is something hereditary or, and so I'm trying to think ahead and see if I can repair the kidney in natural ways rather than these things. So that's my After says, thank you, Miran. Please ignore my last was okay. All right. Mike says, impressive how you sweep away my question. Mike, did I? About the paradox of love, believing in stability, but the reality being transient. That's a deep contradiction. You're not understanding what I mean. Well, then, Mike, make your question so I can understand, rather than judging my intention for calling it sweeping your question. I sweep questions that I cannot understand because they're not delivered in a way that the question is apparent what it is. If you read your own question that you sent here, it is not clear to me to be able to have enough detail to do something about it. Here it is. I read it to you again. If you understand it, then explain it to me. But don't go off the handle and trying to say this and that. You know how I deal with questions. But if I don't understand it, I say I don't understand it. Here's your question. By definition, real deep love is believing in, you might say, eternity. But what if you reach the point in life of understanding deeply that everything is transient? No love possible anymore? I mean, why are you putting yourself in that kind of a atmosphere of thinking? What does everything being transient have anything to do with an emotion that you can have about an apple? You can't have an emotion of saying this apple is so delicious, I love it, I'm enjoying it, I'm thankful that it's here, and I'm keeping me, uh, you know, um, full and not hungry. I appreciate it. But because it's transient, then I don't care about it. I don't even want to eat it. Let me die. That's what I understand of this. And that's the extent of the explanation. Very simple. Everything is transient. If you want to wait for transient things to not be transient before you can enjoy life, well, that's your doing. And that's unfortunate because life doesn't care if you're understanding and waiting for things to be constant than transient to enjoy it. That's your doing. This life is transient. You want to enjoy every second and every moment and every opportunity you get, good for you. You don't, you want to wait until it's constant, well, keep waiting. It'll never come and we'll all perish before we even get that chance of um, constant lifestyle. This is a relative world. It's not an absolute universe. You're expecting an absolute condition of life, an absolute universe in a relative world, a transient world. This is a dualism. There is shade, there is sunshine, there is hunger, there is full tummy, there is all kinds of things that are opposite of each other. But you expect things to be constant, absolute, forever, before you can enjoy love, emotion, kindness, compassion, understanding. I'm not going to give love because it's going to be transient. What the hell does that mean? That's what I can get from this. So to me, the whole beginning of the question is wrong. When the question does not recognize the world that we're in and what kind of a journey this world is on, well, I can't really make sense out of it. Your whole basis of that question is coming from a wrong place. You got to find out, how can I love things in where I am? It's like saying, I can't love these flower gardens because these flowers eventually stop blooming. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, they will. But they're not, they're blooming now. They're in front of you. You're here. The aroma in the air, the whole situation, the whole atmosphere. Enjoy it. Instead of wanting to have a guaranteed that this will last before I can enjoy a moment of it. The time that those gardens will last, you won't be there. You'll only be there for half an hour. So enjoy the half an hour instead of debating why this doesn't last forever. Well, you're not going to be there forever. You're just going to be for a short time because you're transit and your actions are also transit in a transient world. So to you, it may seem constant that one moment. Why do you consider everything transient, but you're not transient? You're transient, everything else is transient. So you're moving alongside of everything that is moving. So it could be enjoyable and usable rather than thinking everything is moving, I'm not. You're part of the whole movement, so you're moving with everything else that is transient. Anyhow, that's as far as I can go right now. And let's see what kind of a complaint and dissatisfaction you come up with, Mike. Did you ever tell us where you are located and how old you are, Mike? Or you did not respond to that? Looks like you actually didn't tell us. Uh, you swept my question before thinking that I swept your question, I guess, Mike. No? All right. Oh, there it is, 42. Oh, yeah, okay. By the way, why are you so angry with me? I didn't sweep your question. Your question was not clear enough. I see something here in your second part. Believing in stability is our fault. It's not a contradictory to the reality being transient. We should know everything is transient. You believing in love being stable, that's on you. We are supposed to be able to keep balance while the ship is moving and has turbulences on the ocean. That's what we are supposed to do. You say, I believe I should be able to stand, but the ship is moving. Well, you should know that the ship is moving and then try to stand. The fact that you assume believing in a stability of love, that's a wrong belief to begin with. Why would you believe that love is stable? It's based on someone else's opinion and state of mind and efforts as well as yours. It's not that you're only responsible for that stability, and you can't be responsible for other people's actions and frame of mind to expect the love to be stable. The whole world is not absolute, is relative world. How do you expect everything else in it to have that stability that you're looking for? Anyhow, let's move on. I hope that would be at least something. Sapo Japo says, good evening, sir. Hello, Sapo. And Sapo, what is the age, gender where you're tuning in from? Sapo Japo is Canada. All right. And Hope MC says, hi, sir. I'm from Tanzania, Africa. Welcome. Says, I struggle on changing clothes over and over until I go late at work or any places. I try to change, but the behavior still repeats sometimes. Where's the rest of it? Hope, where's the rest of it? Looks like you are going to have follow-up. First of all, if you think it takes you a long time, you haven't come up to a remedy to deal with it yet, start earlier to get ready. You know how long it takes for you. You know it takes more than half an hour for you to get ready. So start an hour earlier. Maybe you can beat it that way. Second, you obviously have some kind of a OCD. I don't think it's lack of ability to make decisions. It could be OCD that you think, no, I gotta wear that one, but I wore that one, but I feel like, oh, it's bad luck. I should have wear the other one to get a better result. All these intrusive thoughts interfere to you making a judgment, because wearing that clothes has nothing to do with anything that's going to happen out there or not happen. The other thing is that you might be so involved in impressing others and getting their attention and focusing on the physical expression of yours to meet other people's expectations and win their favors and be kind to you or think good of you or think highly of you or somehow impressing them, it could be why you keep changing and don't know what to wear, what tie, what shirt, what jacket, whatever. Or if you actually don't know what colors go together, well, just, hire someone who's good at fashion and get some know-how about what textile is more appropriate to wear as a jacket when your pants is plain, and what kind of a design the textile should have to go well together. If it's the same material, suit and pants, good. If it's too different, then definitely you don't want to wear, I don't know, like a checkered tie with a checkered jacket. It just it's not supposed to. So you can learn all these things, but you got to find out why is it? What is it? Is it OCD? Is it attention? Is it worrying about if it's going to be thought that you wore good or you wore bad? Someone else's opinion about how you wear your clothes is in your mind, or is it simply you take a long time or you don't know what to wear? First, you pinpoint that, then you can remedy it. And Sabi Gravy says, "Good day, Mehran. It's nice to see you again. Your videos are always a treat to watch." Thank you for that. And please don't deprive me of age, gender, where you guys tuning in from. It's very important for me to at least know something about you guys when I don't constantly remember. And Sapo Japo says, 20 male Germany. My GF broke up with me back in February. That's a long time ago. You still hung up on her. She moved on with one of her male friends within a week after the breakup. I was devastated by her decision at the time. Why should you be devastated? Why would you want to be with someone who moves in with another guy? That should be a disqualifier. You may feel like, okay, I lost the hunt. But the beautiful thing about it is that you lost the hunt. There are many other hunts. There are many other amazing, beautiful women out there. Just the fact that you don't have connection with them yet doesn't mean it won't be, that you won't have connection. You will travel a little bit more. You will find other hunts and you will find other opportunities and you will have other friends and you will get more acquaintances. But don't focus on and don't compare the relationship that you had with this girl with the ones that you don't have a relationship and then feel sad. Think that this was a relationship because I had spent time with her. The others, when I spent time with her, they could turn into a relationship as well. The good thing is that this one that is making this kind of decisions is not meeting my standards, so I don't want to be with her. So I will now be eagerly and happily look for other opportunities. That's life. You can't base your happiness on somebody else's decisions. And Sapo Japo 20 male Germany says, now 6 months later, I'm fine with them being together. I respect their relationship and I haven't had contact with any of them, but I still have thoughts about them and they seem to torture me still because you haven't had a new girlfriend and you haven't replaced the part that is no longer useful to you. So you're constantly thinking, look, your car broke down and it's missing a wheel. And if you don't fix it, you will constantly look at other cars and say, oh, they have 4 wheels and I have 3. Well, go fix the wheel. You replace the wheel. You wouldn't be thinking about the wheel that you lost because now you have a car with full 4 wheels and you get to go places. So another way, what I'm trying to say is that you had a relationship and she's no longer in that relationship and you haven't replaced or made efforts to get new friends and new hobbies and create a new order in your life. So therefore, your brain is still not able to find security in the order of life because the order of life, the way it was made by you and her together doing things. Now that she's not there, that order is broken, and the brain finds order, the brain finds security in the order. So it keeps going to the memory, because in the memory, that order, how your life used to be with her, is recorded. And when the brain goes in there, finds that recording and feels secure. That's why it keeps going there. That's why it keeps wanting to be in the memory. That's why you keep thinking of her. Not because she's great, because the brain, you haven't created new hobbies, new mechanical processes, new things that you do, new friends, new hobbies, new girlfriends. Therefore, you don't have a new set created order of new things that you like to do. Therefore, there is no order in your actual physical life. So the mind goes into the memory to find that order and security. When you create new things that you like to do, get interested in other things that you want to accomplish, find new friends and hobbies, you will create new order, and the brain will not go to the memory anymore, will stay here and feel safe and secure. When you go into the memory to find that order, who else is there? Part of that whole memory and the routine of the things, how it was in the memory, is her. So you see her. As soon as you see her, the trigger of the file that is prerequisite for desire to be born opens that file, and all the things necessary for desire to be born is also recorded. They become reactivated, and your brain thinks that all those prerequisites necessary for the desire to be born have been met again, and refreshes it and desires the girl again, desires that order, desires that relationship. Instead, if you create the new way of doing things, new things happening in your life, you will create a new order outside of your memory. The brain won't go into the memory anymore. That desire, prerequisite for desire to be born, will not be triggered. That file will not open. You will not miss her, thinking it's you're missing her, but you're missing the order. You're not missing her. So come back in reality, create a new order by doing things that you like to do and accomplish. And soon enough, you won't have any need to go into memory. And when you're not in memory, you won't see her, you won't miss her, you won't desire her. None of that will happen. So, in other words, move on is the key for you not to feeling the way you are. All right. Jose Caraballo Rivera says 24 male Puerto Rico. 24 male Puerto Rico. Where are you, Jose? Jose. I can't see your question, Jose. Oh, here it is. Jose, 24 male Puerto Rico says, do you think a narcissist can change? Depends on the narcissist and how much he or she wants to help herself. And if she knows that she's a narcissist or she just oblivious to it. But my suggestion to you, if you're convinced someone is narcissist, don't have anything to do with her. Let's move on. There's so many amazing women out there. Why should you be with a narcissist? Because you have this desire to please and to prove to people that you're great, and you want their affection, and you want their affirmation, and you want their attention. Instead of that, just say, I don't need her attention or affection or affirmation. My affirmation, who I am, is in my own hand. I don't need her to attest to that or to verify that, especially that she's a narcissist. So that means I'm going to be on the hook on her to prove to a narcissist that I'm good, when the narcissist's whole basis of behavior is not approving of anybody else and constantly putting people down and expecting more and never be satisfied. What kind of an animal is that I want to have anything to do with it? Stay away from that piece of work and live your life happily. All right. Who else do we have here? Rahul says, yeah, that's true, Rahul. And I have all that information already. Yeah, we have all that medical things here, but I want to repair the kidney. Yeah, I have all that information already, Rahul. Yeah, Rahul, all of that is already checked, and I have all that information. But I'm looking for something that is not part of the Western medicine, and I would like to be able to repair the nephrals. All right. And Xavi Gravy says 29 male Philippines. Thank you for that. Hope Max says, thank you, sir, for enlightenment. You're quite welcome. Hope, thank you for that. And Sapo Japo says, thanks a lot of the advice. Also, the painting of the flower in the background is gorgeous. Thank you. Actually, that picture was given to me by a colleague, friend of mine at Mitsubishi. I used to have a company that I used to deal in steel and export steel. And at the time, my partner company was Mitsubishi, and its manager at the time was a gentleman that we became friend, and we even played golf a couple of times. He was a very nice guy, and I learned a lot from him in the trade of stealing steel business. And so he gave me that once we did a good big deal together. Uh, that was his gift for that deal, and that was a long time ago. Yeah, I wonder what he's doing. He's back in Japan. He was stationed here in Vancouver, and I remember he wanted to retire and open a sporting store. And I remember at the time I was married, and he brought these very beautiful, only Japanese can do that, sugar cubes. And he brought that for my wife, and the sugar cubes had different flowers and things with sugar and colorful sugar on top of the sugar cubes. Very fancy. Japanese are so amazing in their artwork, and even they make art out of food. So anyhow, yeah, that's a gift that I still have it. So who else we have here? Rainbow says, hello from New York, 38 female single. Hello, Rainbow. Says, I'm moving to Seattle. I used to go to Seattle U for English at the time. I just come to United States. I landed in Seattle. I was not quite 18 yet. And says, I'm moving to Seattle for work. I'm very nervous because I don't know anyone in Seattle. No, Seattle is a friendly place. So I feel too old to make. Are you kidding me? Don't say that. But then I'm a fossil. I should die then. 38? You're too old? 38-year-old woman is top of the line woman. She's got experience, wisdom, knows what's right, what's wrong, has experienced and made her mistakes. She's educated, she's got a career, she's confident. And if she takes good care of herself physically and mentally, she's the best candidate for the right man at the age that she would actually be interested in. So don't knock yourself down ever again. So I feel too old to make friends and hard to make new quality friends as we age. In fact, it's easier to make quality friends as we age because then we have certain qualities and certain expectations. But when we were younger, we never made quality friends pretty much. We just made friends because we didn't have any expectations or qualities that we would be focused on. We were just, you know, working or moving on our hormones and physical interests and some commonalities or compatibilities. So you have a good chance to make actually a wiser decision and find a better quality friends at this age than any other age. You can qualify better, you can look for certain things, you can see the red flags. Says, got so much anxiety. No, no, no. I don't think so. Well, maybe that would be called for to make an appointment with me and we'll discuss this because I think you need to get over that and understand that you are actually the center for what you're going to get. In other words, your mental state will determine if you're too old or not. You are going by the age and certain things that you've been conditioned to think that what is old, what is right. But if your mentality is happy, young, and enjoys and understands what youth really is not necessarily in age. It's in being a kid, even when you're at my age. I still think I'm a 25-year-old boy in many different aspects of my life. If I go hiking, if I am at the gym, if I see, I don't know, new tea, or I'm on my bike, all the things that you can express exactly the way you were and the way you enjoyed it, it can still be done at any age. It's here. It's got nothing to do with how many years have passed. You can be a young teenager in your mind and have the enjoyment of the events to the level of how you would enjoy if you were a teenager. I still enjoy Halloween the same way as when I was taking my son to uh, trick or treat at the Halloween evening. Same excitement, pretty much, a little bit less because I'm not taking my son to trick or treat, but the atmosphere is still the same. I still feel the same for Christmas, even though I'm not Christian, but the whole celebration always had special meaning for me. And I'm 66 now, but I still feel like a kid when it's Christmas time, when it's all those music are playing in the backgrounds, the Halloween time, all the festivities. That's up to you. It's got nothing to do with who is there, who is not there. And so you can feel as young as you want, and on that premise, you can find new friends. You don't have to hide behind your age that I can't be friendly because I'm 38. What? You can be friendly at any age. You can be a kid. You can laugh. You can take a joke. You can say a joke. You can. So I think you got to change your mental state in regards to yourself. You have created an image of yourself, and you're behaving and interacting with life according to that image that was created about you in your mind. Now, I'm asking you to have different images. One at your work image, that you need to have certain kind of a outlook on certain kind of impressions to be given out, and one when you're by yourself. Enjoy the moment, be joyful. It has nothing to do with how old we are. Anyhow, that's what I can share with you right now. The unstoppable force says 29 male Joe London. All right, thank you, Joe. Says, I'm a Muslim revert. What does that mean? I'm a Muslim revert. I'm a Muslim revert. My girlfriend dumped and blocked me. Okay, let me translate this. I'm a Muslim. My girlfriend dumped me and blocked me on Monday. I'm in pain and it's been hard. Any advice? She said it's her, not me, but I feel it's a lie. We were supposed to meet this week. Yeah, but why do you feel the life is over or anything? What's wrong with you? You're 29 years old. You're at the height of your youth and capabilities and abilities. And you have so many other women out there. Why does it have to be her? Why does it have to be a girl who is not faithful to you and does not want to meet with you? Why does it have to be her that you would pay attention to? Why can't you not see that there's so many amazing other women out there? Why can't you see that? Why? Because you're not looking at her. You're in love with your desire for pleasure, and your ego has taken over and tells you that your worth and value is if somebody else gives you value rather than you give yourself value. Your ego says that my value is dependent on if she's mine. Possessiveness, mine, is what you're focusing on, rather than that what I'm trying to make it mine is not qualified for me. Why? Because she doesn't want me. If someone doesn't want me, I don't want them. I cannot want someone who doesn't want me. It's number one priority and number one prerequisites for me to want someone is for them to be interested in me. If they're not, I can't be interested in them. That's a value you have for yourself. If you don't have that value, everybody else is going to shit on your head. Why? Because you're waiting for their charity, that they would give you value by their attention and choosing you. Choosing you is not your value. Your value is in you by noticing if they meet your qualifications or not. One of the qualifications is to like you, to want to be with you. The other end is to be faithful to you, want to be committed to you, want to be in a relationship with you. If they don't, free world. They can go and you can look at the other girls and look for a better quality of relationship. What does she have that could devastate your life? What? What has she done for this world that have made it a better world? She fed the old people. She takes care of the children. She protects the old. She cures a common cold. What does she do? What is it that makes her so important? Nothing. She hasn't done anything. Everything that is good about her, you thought of it in your mind. You gave it to her. Otherwise, on herself, on her own, what has she contributed to this world that you think of her? She's so amazing that you're devastated she doesn't want to be with you. What's her qualification? What's her contribution to this world? You can see that The reason she's important is because of your desire for her. Otherwise, there's nothing else that you've told me about her that makes her so amazingly special. So give that desire to somebody else, and that person becomes important. That's it. The source of her importance that is devastating you, so to speak, the source of her importance is not in her, is in your desire. Take that out. She's not important, and you'll be fine, and you'll give that desire to somebody else, make somebody else powerful. All right. Being hurt in a relationship that broke up is your choice. You can be hurt if you want to, but you don't have to be hurt. And you can just be fine. Say, okay, I'll find other ones. World didn't end. Opportunities didn't end. World didn't finish. Life didn't end. Everything continues. All beautiful things, all food, all cars, all opportunities, all jobs, all educations, all learnings, all women, everything is still there. So what ended? Only that you can't have. You're so egoistic that if you can't have this, you can't handle it. Why should you want to have something that doesn't want you? You should disqualify her. Why? Because she doesn't want you. If she doesn't want you, she's no good for you. Don't forget what I always said. If this wheel doesn't turn for me, I don't care if it turns at all. I don't care how beautiful, wonderful, amazing, whatever a woman is. If it's not for me, what do I care? Wish her well, let him go. And you go on and see which wheel is turning for you. That's where you hang your hat. As soon as they stop turning for you, you go somewhere else. There you go. That's life. Rainbow says, do well in the new town. I want to start all over. Oh, I see. That's a continuation of where we left it. Says, got so much anxiety if I will. Oh, there's the rest of it. If I do well in the new town, I want to start all over fresh and create a life I want. Any suggestions? Says, thank you. I feel like men my age who are at the same level of success and career like young woman in 20s. Okay, I didn't get the question, but I think I did respond to the question before I read the rest of it, yeah? Anyhow, you're welcome to go on my site, mind@6truth.com, and make an appointment, and we'll discuss your concerns one-on-one on Skype. And we have Mike says, let me try again shortly. You talked about your wife. These times were sacred. I talked about my wife? When? Just this example of my Japanese friend giving me that gift, you mean? I was married then. I'm not married now. You talked about your wife. These times were sacred, I guess. In a corner of your soul, are you not still feeling pain that it passed? Not at all. I'm delighted. That was my first wife. And even my second wife. With my second wife, we're still great friends, and she has her own personal life, and I have my own personal life, and not at all, whatsoever. This is, love seems eternal, life is transient. Well, no, that's what you've made out of it. The love that you think it's eternal is not a love toward your partner, because you're not in control of it. They're two people, and their consciousness is evolving, dynamically evolving all throughout life. And you cannot expect a constant response from a consciousness that has been conditioned in a certain way, and that certain way is to be influenced by so many other things in different ways every time it shows up. So the consciousness is not constant, it's being dynamically evolved, and their taste or preferences or expectations might change, which affects their love, so to speak, that you're calling. That's not love, that's lust. And the question is, do you love them, or do they love you, or they love what you do for them? Do you love them? Do you love her? Or you love what she does for you? That's never constant. Why do you think people get divorced? So many people throughout the history, they fall in love, they get connected, they get committed, then they divorce. Why? No love has been eternal, ever. The relationship love. The only love, in my opinion, that is eternal or can be eternal is the love toward your offspring. Unconditional love. That's a different level of love. The love that you're talking about is mixed with lust and commitments and conditions and expectations and consciousness conditioning and all these other things that you're not in control. But you want something that you're not in control to be forever, eternal, in an environment which the whole environment itself is transient. That's just not logical. It's like a river is flowing forward, and you want something in this river not to flow with it, just to be constant. Not reasonable expectations. So changes and not being forever is the motto of this world. Other than the sun rising and sun setting, what else have been constant and eternal in this life, in this journey of yours? Love? The concept of love is eternal, but the love between you and your girlfriend is not eternal, because a girlfriend is another human being subject to so many changes and modifications and influences and thought processes and malfunction of the brain through thought processes, and changing her opinion about you, about many things that she liked with you and she may not like today. So it takes away the compatibilities that you guys felt. When everything in that person, including her cells in the body, changes every day, you expect her mentality and the content of her consciousness don't change. So everything she likes will remain constant. So if she, based on that, she decided to love you, that will remain constant. Everything about her is changing. So the love for you also can change. So if you look at that, then you won't expect the love to be eternal, and you'll be realistic and enjoy the love while it's lasts, while you guys have things in common. And then when it doesn't, you appreciate the opportunity, the duration of it, and graciously you move on and allow her to explore her life and move on and develop and advance. Same thing for you. It's about your expectations, not about complaining about why love is not constant and eternal and everything else is transient. It's about your understanding of it. That's not logical. So I hope that would be something to think about. Rainbow says, thank you. You're quite welcome. And Saichu says, hello. I used to listen to you daily a couple of years ago. I'm so glad you're well and healthy. You're a wise man. Thank you for what you're doing. You're quite welcome. I appreciate your kind comments and glad that you could join us. Well, everyone, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes, 46 minutes and 30 seconds, 31, 32, 30, it's going on. So I think there's no more questions. We've answered all the questions. And so I look forward to our next conversation or live stream. Everybody remember that mindthatseekstruth.com is my site. You may go on it and look at the books that I've written, or you can take a moment to look at the how you can chat with me and make an appointment on Skype, and we'll discuss what's concerning you in regards to your relationships, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, in relation to OCD, subsets of OCD, including HOCD, and we'll discuss whatever is concerning you one-on-one on Skype. I look forward to our next one. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.